Live from all over this beautiful land, this is the Testosterone Zone with the fine men, Noel, Keith, and Steve. Take it, boys!
And welcome everybody to episode 48 of Testosterone Podcast. This is Noel. I'm here with Steve and Keith as usual, and we have a guest here today, Mark. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back, Mark.
Hey,
Welcome back, Mark.
thanks. Good to be here.
So, Keith, you want to introduce Mark? And
Yeah. So this week and this last week, we've kind of been doing a little bit of a technology highlight. Last week, we talked about a little bit about our favorite apps that we use and everyday use, things like that, things that we do for enjoyment, things that we do for productivity and the like. And we posted that on our pages, so Twitter, Instagram, and also our new website. But today, what I wanted to do is bring Mark back in. Mark has been, he's an old friend of mine, and he has been recently, just within the last week and a half or so, to the Consumer Electronics Show 2019 in Las Vegas. And he's been nice enough to agree to come on with us and give us kind of a rundown of the experience of Consumer Electronics Show. So, Mark, first and foremost, thank you for coming on again. We really appreciate it. It's been a while since you've been on, and so thanks for coming back.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So tell us a little bit about your experience at Consumer Electronics Show. And I'm telling you, I can only imagine what you experienced. So try to give us a picture of what that was all about.
Sure. Some background also. One of the reasons why it was there is because this is the first time I went, and I went there because I needed to visit a contract manufacturer that I wanted to work with for future products for my business, which we talked about in one of the prior episodes.
Yep.
And they were going to be there. They're from China, and they're going to have a booth there. So that was an opportunity for me to go. Typically, when I've heard about it, obviously the thing is huge, right? I mean, it's just the show is just beyond anything I really would ever really comprehend, because it was just. I hear how large it is, but it's just hard to comprehend it until you're there. Everywhere is sold out. Like everywhere you would possibly want to stay is sold out. So luckily, I have family that lives nearby. So I had a place to stay, and also it's not open to the public either. You have to be part of, you have to prove that you work in the consumer electronics industry in order to go.
So that's just to go, not even just to have a booth, but just to be able to have access to the show.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
So I had to go through that whole process to do that and to prove that I'm part of a business that is part of the consumer electronic industry.
I didn't realize that. I thought that anybody could go watch that. Interesting.
I think maybe it used to be that way, but it's definitely not that way anymore. I mean, that's why. You saw 0 kids there, for example. Because of that. But
that's interesting.
I mean, as far as the enormity of the whole thing, there was 180,000 attendees there this year. 180,000.
Golly.
And there were 4,500 booths there. 4,500 booths. Yeah. And just to get through the whole thing, so it's actually across multiple buildings. So the main
is it on the Strip, or where is it?
Yeah. So it's all around the Strip. So there's a Las Vegas Convention Center, which is this enormous structure composed of multiple buildings. I found out that was basically the main place where most of the main attractions are, like the big booths and everything. And then there's other satellite ones, like at the Venetian. Have you ever been to the Venetian?
Oh yes, neat facility.
Yeah. So they had the Sands there, which is part of the Venetian, and there was also stuff there. And then there was a third place too, but it looked like more. I found it also that a lot of times companies will rent out these just conference rooms just for meetings. They may not present there, but they'll just have it there just for meetings, just to meet up with people that showed up there. And as far as attendees go, we talked about that. When you get your badge thing, you wear it over your neck, and it is like my label was industry attendee, but I saw all sorts of other labels that people had. They had exhibitor, people had media. There's lots of media, engineer. I'm not really sure what exactly that role was. There were people there that were labeled engineer. There was also buyer and also government. I saw that as well.
Interesting.
So that was pretty interesting. And
Wow.
just the first day alone, we walked 6 miles of booths just the first day, and then the second day was 4.5 miles of booths.
That's crazy. Wow.
Holy.
Yeah, so like I said, we went to the Las Vegas Convention Center the first day, and there it's split up in 3 buildings: South, Central, and North. And there they had some of the major sections they had were AR and VR gaming, home cinema, AI and robotics, drones, 3D printing, wireless devices and services, audio, video, and vehicle technology. That was a surprise to me. It's like I saw cars everywhere. I mean, at this,
Really?
yeah, because they were advertising, but they were showing electric cars. They were showing cars with like autopilot type like technology, safety technology, high audio systems, things like that. And
Gotcha.
then the second day we then went to the Venetian or the Sands, and they had smart home, health and wellness, sleep technology. You wouldn't believe it. There was like a tons of like interesting like beds and things like that. There it was like
Wow.
it was very fitness technology, sports technology, and wearables. And they also had a whole section just for startups, like companies that are just starting out. They turned the bottom parking garage floor of the Sands, which is just this enormous place. They carpeted the whole thing, and they must have had at least like 1,000 booths down there, each about 8 by 8, in
Wow.
and just random stuff people were trying to show off in order to launch their business. And they were also interesting. Also, they were all uh, sectioned off by country as well, which was different too.
That's interesting. So what were there any startups that that caught your eye?
Unfortunately, the only startups that caught my eye were just the weird ones. Like that's a lot. I tell you, as you can imagine, 4,500 exhibits. Like not all of them are going to be the thing you walk away thinking, wow, this is the thing I want to buy. I got to give it to some of the people. Like they're really passionate about what they were trying to show and what they made. But I mean, yeah. Do you need a electronic diaper to let you know that your kid is wet, or do you need what looked like to me a small pet like relaxation chamber?
Wow.
Yeah, that
Wow.
you put your pet in there and all these nice lights and music and smells, I guess, to relax your pet. Stuff like that. Shoes with dot matrix displays on them that can scroll text and stuff. I mean,
Yeah, you got a picture of one of those.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we'll put that up.
yeah, that too. And also, how about a speaker that with a cement case? I mean, they were really, really proud of that thing.
Wow.
So, but I'm telling you, just lots of random, just stuff like that, and there was just tons and tons of it.
That's wild. So that was the kind of the startup area. So let's get into some of the. So give us your rundown of which ones. Give us your top 5 booths that you think stuck out and what made the biggest impression there.
Well,
Because
let's
you
see.
know
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of the same, a lot of the I'm never going to need this, and who is
yeah,
ever going to
yeah.
use this. But there's got to be at least 5 that you could say, "Whoa, okay, this could move some things."
It's even kind of hard too. It's like some of this stuff was a little strange and interesting. Yeah, I mean, I shared some pictures with you, and
Mhm.
so that you can also share with all the other listeners too. You had. Again, booths for everything, even companies that you never thought would ever be there.
So
Uh,
you told me that even the U.S. Postal Service had a booth.
Correct. The U.S. Postal Service had a booth, and it was a nice booth too. It was big, right? It was. I was walking around. I'm like, is that the post office?
That's why our stamps just went up.
Yeah, yeah. That's where the money's going, because the whole
Yeah.
point, the whole point is to try to. The whole point is to try to actually make it so that you attract people to your booth.
Yeah.
And so there are easily people have spent millions of dollars. I'd be surprised if it was any less than millions of dollars on some of these booths. Now the Postal Service, no, but they were trying to they were trying to show off their new smart mailbox. I guess
Okay.
something that will tell you when you have mail in your box. I guess it'll notify you somehow of your phone or something.
Okie doke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Some of the coolest things I saw though, I liked the robotics stuff I saw. There were a lot of cool robotic stuff. One of the pictures, one of the videos I shared with you that will be shared is a robot. I think it got press in the past, but seeing it live was really neat too. It was a robot that's able to play ping pong against you.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
so
Oh, wow.
it sits there and uses its, but I think the point of the whole thing is to attract people to the booth so people can actually turn around and look at all the other robots that the company sells
Right.
Mhm.
too.
But I mean, that's pretty impressive to have a robot that can like analyze where a ball's going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you
Uh,
think about the math that would go into that, in
the computer,
the programming.
the computer vision alone. It's a little easier problem because the table's blue and the ball is not, so it's a
That's
little
true.
easier to do. But still, I mean, I'm not trying to trivialize how hard it is to do something like that. And there's a lot of, like I said, I walked through initially about the AR and VR sections. Obviously, a lot of things related to that. One that stood out is basically these huge hamster ball, like human-sized hamster balls that allow you to walk in any direction as you're within your VR experience.
So that was these big metal cages that I'm seeing here.
Yeah, these big metal ball cages that you you walk around in, and that was different. The also like experiences where not just that you're wearing a VR headset, but there's other like physical stuff going on around you, like the ball, or also it's like if you wanted to experience a ride, like a roller coaster ride. You have this like big contraption that you're wearing this thing on your face, kind of like, you remember like Star Tours and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But instead it's like that, but I guess trying to be more immersive by having this headset on your head, but also strapping you into a contraption essentially, and making you feel the forces that you would feel.
So is this the picture that I'm seeing that looks like there's 3 or 4 guys in an orange chair?
Yeah, and in
Okay.
fact, yeah, it was funny. And what's funny about it too is like they were one of the guys on there was just screaming, just laughing, just loved it, like absolutely loved it. And like the few pictures down, you'll see a guy where they're trying to simulate flying like a bird.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's a
Yeah.
video as well. If you play that video, you'll see there's a fan blowing on him too.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh, really?
a point in time where he's flapping his wings too. Uh,
That
Yeah.
is cool.
A lot of like a lot of robots, to toys, robots to actually entertain your dog. A lot of weird like things like that. A lot of things that would things to companions for your dog. Like I have a picture of one of those too, the little cylinder thing that rolls around. Uh,
Yeah.
Luggage that
I see
follows
that.
you.
Huh.
So there's this like luggage that you or technology that follows you. Essentially, there were multiple like instances of that at CES. One was luggage. You're walking through an airport, you have luggage that follows you around automatically. It looks like luggage,
Hmm.
but it just rolls and falls behind you. Question is, what happens if someone tries to swipe your luggage? Apparently, an alarm goes off, but I don't know how effective that would be in a
Wow.
busy airport. There's also like you're going to the beach. Again, you have all your cooler full of stuff. You can't carry anything else. The thing the thing follows you on the beach. It has kind of bigger
Snack bot.
wheels, so you kind of snack
That's
bot.
cool. Yeah.
So
Oh, is that? Oh, I see it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, the
Snack
green-
bot. Okay.
yeah,
So
snack
I'm
bot.
gonna post that one. So for our listeners, we're gonna post as we're going through these. I'm gonna put these in the order of what we're talking about, so you can see them, just so you know.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm making notes as we're going.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
so as far as like all the VR stuff, not much. I mean, is as far as I don't know if there's anything there that like I saw that, man, I must have. I mean, they had stuff for everything. Like they even had like a booth just for a virtual archery. Like they had like a bow, and the entire booth was just for that. Just so you can have like a virtual archery simulation. trying to be
That's
like
wild.
realistic like that. But after the VR thing, there were drones. As you know, I like Keith. You know that I love drones. You love drones
Yes.
too. Now this whole thing about CES was about underwater drones. Like there was all sorts of drones for. Of course, there were the traditional drones that fly around. Some massive ones too, small, some really tiny ones. But there were a lot of a pretty large presence of a submersible aquatic drones.
So is that what this shark is?
Yeah, that's what I was about to
Yes,
ask.
that is actually a life-size shark, and it's a drone.
Huh.
And it swims
That's
around like a shark. To the left of it, you can see also they also had things like what you would like almost look like some sort of submersible like scientific instrument.
Mhm.
Is that white thing that looks like it's straight out of a
Yeah,
like it's
to the
gonna
left
fixing
of
to
it,
go
yeah.
bad and rogue?
Yeah, yeah, it's going to go against you.
It looks like something that would be in a Bond movie.
Yeah,
does.
yeah. But the drones, I would say that would be one of my things that I love seeing there was the drones are getting cheaper. They're getting much more sophisticated. Some of the DJI, I stopped by the DJI booth and saw the latest Mavics and things like that. And that would be something I'm like, yeah, that was one of my top 5 is some of that stuff I saw there.
Yeah, that sounds good. The now I know the thing that you really want is the Lamborghini massage chair.
Oh,
So yeah, so that the Lamborghini.
Did y'all see that? That's one of those pictures.
Yeah, the picture before that, you'll see the whole place was just like there was these pods of just like sometimes hundreds of these massage chairs. And these aren't like the normal massage chairs like you see at like a Bed Bath and Beyond or something like that. This is like you like basically almost submerge yourself into this chair.
Mm.
Like the entire thing, the only thing like the front of you is still like exposed, but the rest of you is just like wrapped by this chair. And and so of course Lamborghini has their own branded massage chair.
Wow.
So that's
Look at that thing.
but yeah, there was a Lamborghini right next to it too, of course. So
Wow.
that was
Yeah,
pretty
of course.
cool.
That why does this not? I mean, is anybody else feeling like Wall-E is about to happen here with these people that's just sitting in these lounge chairs?
I know that.
Everything
Yeah,
does
they
things
were. Yeah, they were pretty. Yeah, they were pretty out of it in that chair.
That's amazing.
Another cool thing also was seeing the 3D printing technology as well. And that's another favorite thing of mine is 3D printing. I own an FDM printer. That's your traditional printer, 3D printer, as you would think about it, the one with the spool of filament.
Wow.
And there were a lot of presents for their these generation of new desktop printers called SLA printers. And these printers use essentially like it's a different technology. It uses liquid resin and then it cures it using infrared light. And you're able to produce a resolution that's just phenomenal. And like one of the pictures I'd included was an example print of some from one of these SLA printers, and they're basically rings. They're ring size, and just the resolution on them is just phenomenal. And
So is that the one where they're kind of orangish yellow?
correct, yeah,
That picture. Okay, got it.
yeah. So that is these prints are really really phenomenal, and you can't achieve that using the type of printer I currently use. Maybe one day. The only negative of using these printers, of course, you have to deal with these liquid resins, and you have to wear gloves, and you have to have a curing station, UV light curing station, and also a bath of alcohol bath in order to finish before you cure it. So there's still a little ways to go, but they're getting closer to being really something that you can just have on your desktop in your house, and the cost is comparable to the best FDM printers. So that's another one of my top 5 is seeing some of this technology is really awesome.
That's awesome. And don't let Mark like poo-poo what he does. So just to flashback, Mark's episode was episode 9 that we highlighted his business and what he does. But when we introduced that, we also sent back, it was on April 7th. If you go back on our Instagram to April 7th, you can see a laptop with our testosterone image on it, but that's actually an image of his workstation. This isn't ours. This is his. And over to the to the left of that computer, you can see some TIE fighters but Mark's 3D printed. So don't let him make light of what he does. He does some seriously cool prints. So I just wanted to let you know that you really are into the good 3D printing, and you do a great job with it. So
yeah, thanks. Well, maybe the next time I'll come on and I'll share my experiences with one of these SLA printers, huh?
That'd be cool.
Great. Yeah,
that'd be cool. What questions you guys have, Steve? Noel?
So I'm curious, Mark, as you go through, like I see this Mercedes that's, I guess their future smart car or whatever. Did they talk about?
Electric,
Did
yeah.
they talk about what the sticker price is on those type of things, or are they
Oh
just showing it
no,
off?
actually no. That was a great. That was a great. You know what? That's a really great question. I didn't see prices on anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Probably don't
didn't
want to.
intentionally. Yeah, I didn't see prices on anything.
I can only
Yeah. Speaking of
imagine.
which, yeah. As far as the
Yeah,
vehicles,
that thing looks. Phew.
yeah, see, that's a single. That's like a single person car there. And it actually, the third picture, the that I sent over, you can see the Mercedes-Benz booth.
Oh
Or
wow, yeah,
I don't even think you can call this a booth, really. I mean, it's just massive, massive structure.
Wow,
Just with really just to attract people to come see their stuff.
it's
But one
amazing.
thing that surprised me also, as far as vehicles, John Deere was there. You know, the farming equipment.
Yeah, I was going to ask about
Yeah,
that. What is that thing? It's
yeah,
a
it's a combine, but
combine.
it's like the what you see in the picture is actually only a third of it. There's two-thirds of it is behind the picture. It's just this massive,
Wow.
massive machine that is used to, and it's all super like decked out electronics and automation and all sorts of stuff. In fact,
Wow.
there's a cockpit in it, and there's like a chair that you can like swivel around and like to go to different basically different workstations within the cockpit. So it's pretty
Wow.
advanced stuff.
Huh. That is,
It
Oh,
may
that'd be
I thought
crazy,
you were going to tell
Rick.
me it was
maybe. I
unmanned.
mean, I wouldn't doubt. I mean,
that'd be sweet.
I wouldn't doubt that it could. A lot of it is probably you probably have to have someone in there, but I'm sure a lot of it's probably automated. And of course,
Yeah.
then we had like you had
Yeah,
the 18 wheeler, like super high tech 18 wheelers, and also yachts as well. Like there was this massive
I
yacht
saw
there
that.
too that was just really cool, just right in the middle of the show floor. Just anything. I mean, anything and everything was at this show. It was pretty
I
incredible.
Golly.
wonder how they got. I wonder how they got like I'm looking at the Bell. Looks like the Bell
Hmm.
hovercraft, or
Yeah,
how the heck did they get that thing in the
that's
convention
oh
a
yeah,
great
center?
question. I mean, they had massive cars and vehicles in this thing. There are multiple levels, and it
God.
was incredible to see. And yeah, that
Huh.
Bell hexcopter thing. That a lot of people were around that looking at that, and it was a beautiful vehicle. And I think they believe that's the future of flying, essentially,
Wow.
right?
Huh.
I
Uh,
just, can you believe that it's not going to be long before these things are all over the air? I mean, you think
Absolutely.
of it as a
Hmm.
science fiction movie, but that's going to be in our lifetimes.
And
You know,
Yeah.
those rotors rotate as well. I mean, rotate. I mean, is like the whole thing turns too, so they can the thrust
Hmm.
vector. They can control which way the thrust is pointing. So
Hmm.
yeah.
that we can. It's basically the same thing as you can imagine a VTOL device, a vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. That's
Hmm.
exactly what that is. But there's
Hmm.
six propellers on that thing.
Oh, there's six. Okay, I
Interesting.
guess I'm only
Yeah,
seeing four.
yeah.
That's
There's two
wild.
behind there. It's just so hard to get
Yeah.
it. The pictures. It's so hard to actually get it all in the frame. I mean, because
Oh, I can
some of these
imagine.
things were huge, and so that would probably be my third like favorite thing was that Bell, you know, like
Yeah.
vehicle that was just amazing.
I mean, that thing
Uh,
is just,
That
it's
is
just
neat.
stunning. Like if I turned the corner and saw that, I'd be like, holy cow. This
Whoa.
is
yeah.
sci-fi meets the present. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. That is something
Yeah, and
else.
also back to
Hmm.
the 3D printing as well. They also had just like even printers that would do print color ceramic figurines. The reason I took a picture, I have a picture of that too here, is because it's a pretty amazing detail. And
that's
again, it's just a desktop
Oh yeah,
printer
I see him.
printing figurines, that of people. And so
That's wild.
that was really really cool. Another thing
Had to
that
get Laura Croft, didn't you? You had to get Laura
oh,
Croft. I
of
see
course they
it.
have all that in there, of course.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
But another thing I really liked about some of the displays, especially like the photography displays, is they had live demonstrations. Like they had like live people dancing and like models and doing some sort of routines and things like that. And they had a photographer there taking pictures on stage of that person and showing all the features of the lens, the camera, all the settings and things like that too, which I thought was
Wow.
really neat. I like that a lot. Uh, and they also had it was also cool to see the you know how like people like they'll be like media and stuff will be showing or like presenting at these places, and there was a CNET display. I have a picture of that as well, and they were interviewing people there and all that, so that it was all on air constantly. So that was kind of neat to see too. Is like the actual interviews going on that you see online, but actually going on right there. People getting interviewed like a booth and all that.
Man, yeah, I'm looking at that Sony booth. They're taking pictures of the A7R3. That's the camera I want. I'm jealous.
Oh, really?
That's the camera I want right there, and I'm gonna have to donate every part of my body to afford it. So that's okay. Unfortunately, some of it they probably say no. You're gonna have to pay us to take that part. So anyway, but that's cool. That CNET, man. That's just some neat stuff here, man. Really,
it was really cool. I don't know if you
tell us a little bit about this LG deal.
So that was definitely one of my favorite, and I think that one is one of them that got a lot of press too for that one. But before we go there on that last one, I did want to point out this one other one. There's a phone that I have a picture of here. It's actual video, and it's pretty subtle. It's just a phone, right? But what's interesting about it, and what surprised me about it, is that when you look at the phone, it's just like a normal phone. You look at the back of the phone, it's like a normal case. But the difference is when you flip the phone over, there's actually a hidden OLED display in the back of the phone. So the entire back of the phone lights up as a display as well. And it kind of like was confusing me. Why would someone do something like this? Do you have any idea why you would actually have a second display on the back of the phone that you never like? It's neat because it looks like a normal phone, and then you flip it over and you press a button, and then all of a sudden, it lights up.
I'm watching the video here. Yeah, I see it.
Why do you think anybody would want a phone like that?
It's got to be for selfies. Everything's about selfies, right?
That's exactly right. So what that is? That's exactly right. So that was their solution. So there's been many solutions for a phone that is truly notchless and it's bezel-less, right? And there's been pop-up cameras or sliding screens and things like that. This is their solution. You turn the camera over, you turn the phone over to take a selfie, and on the front, it's completely bezel-less.
That's wild.
That is really wild.
Of course, you have to have a case. If you have a case, then obviously it, that's a problem. But still, I thought that was pretty. Yeah. It surprised me. That's all.
The cell phone world is getting to where it's getting less and less impressive every product release. So for something to wow you in the cell phone world, it's pretty cool. I mean, when the iPhone 100 comes out, we're probably going to look at like a new megapixel. You know what I mean? It's just, and don't get me wrong, I love my iPhone, but still, I'm just saying it's getting harder and harder to come out with the wow factors on these phones. And so that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I would say this is my number 4 favorite thing, is because it surprised me. It's like, that's actually a pretty innovative solution. And the fact that the back lit up, and when I couldn't even tell, it looked like a normal shiny, nice finish back on a phone, and then it just lit up. It's as another screen. It was pretty cool. But the one thing at this conference that everybody was always talking about and it was really crowded, and the thing that really blew me away was the LG display. Now we went through Samsung, we went through Sony, we went through like all these other places, and they were just again kind of ho-hum. They were just kind of showing everything they always show. There was nothing new they showed. But LG, of course, as we know, is their major thing is OLED, and with OLED, they're bendable OLED, and as soon as you walk up to their display, they have this huge display of probably like hundreds of panels that are kind of bent and curved, that kind of give you the feeling of like you're in like almost like a tidal wave almost, because like they have all sorts of images running over it. It's just this massive display. Again, I have pictures of it that I sent you all. Yeah. And it was just this most beautiful display, and then that was just the opening to LG's booth, if you can call it a booth, exhibit. When you walk in it, then you're basically assaulted with these massive TVs, these OLED 8K, like 90-inch TVs, right? Now, first of all, we can talk about the merit of 8K. I mean, already 4K is, it's hard. 4K is barely now starting to catch on. Right now, they're talking about 8K, but really the star of the show of their exhibit was the rollable OLED screens. And these are screens that basically roll down and roll in and out of essentially a rectangular box that sits relatively close to the floor, and then you press a button, and they just basically kind of roll up and show themselves. And then when they're done, they roll down. But what they did, I don't know if you've seen these. I don't know if you've seen these TVs advertised before, but their display was just beautiful because they had like I think 5 or 6 of them in a row, and they also had their massive OLED displays behind it, and they had this choreographed music kind of dance thing that they're doing almost as they're going up and down. So
That's
it,
pretty impressive.
it was
That video you sent is pretty impressive.
yeah, it was easily definitely my favorite, my fifth favorite thing there was that was really impressive.
I'm sort of just looking at these pictures and kind of stunned amazement. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
I mean, I don't know.
Totally.
There's the yacht thing would be. I don't know where to start. Like,
Did you get to go inside that?
No, there was actually a line. There were lines in order to see these things, and
Okay.
there was no way we're going to get through there. Actually, I scheduled 3 days to go to CES, and then after 2, I'm like, I've had it. I can't take it anymore. It was just too much, you know.
It's got to be sensory overload.
It was.
No
It definitely was. The strange thing though was it wasn't loud. Right? Like you expect going into something like that, you would just basically be just hearing ear-piercing music coming from everywhere. But generally,
Yeah.
it wasn't like that. Actually, it was actually quite. It was loud, but it wasn't like it wasn't uncomfortable loud for sure, which surprised me. But yeah, after 2 days, that was it. I was like, I was done. I think if I were to do it again, which I like to do it again, I like to probably do it all in one day. Just only the Las Vegas Convention Center, just the main one, and just go see what's there. But yeah, it was just massive, and the products, of course, range from amazing to obscure. And the what's interesting too is that reading in the paper the next day, the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is this massive thing that housed most of the things that you're seeing that I took pictures of. That CS ended on a Friday. A different show was going to start on Monday, so they're going to tear down the entire thing within 2 days.
Golly.
It's just amazing, amazing. I heard also that from people that live there that know about CES locally, most of the exhibitors will. Most of the exhibitors will sell stuff. They'll just sell off their stuff, and so if you go there right at the end, that's where they start selling off
Wow.
all their stuff because they don't want to bring it back with them.
you should have put a bid on that Bell helicopter thing.
No, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
put that in your backyard.
Yeah. Where are we going to store this, honey? I don't know.
You know,
I hope that's okay.
I tell you what, that'd be fun to go to work in.
Mark, I'm curious about the 3D printing because to me right now, it feels like a novel thing to have. I mean, okay, once I have one, I can't imagine how it's going to be used in a daily household in the future.
You have the people that are just creating random figurines, like the Keith mentioned the TIE fighter I printed. That thing was just for me to learn the printer and because it was cool. So some of the more practical things I've used my printer for. One, I got it for my business because I wanted to. This is why I'm very interested in. I made sure to visit all this stuff at CES because I wanted to learn more about what was coming and what was out there. But the like I use it for when I some like enclosures and stuff for my future products. I work with industrial designers, and they come up with CAD or 3D designs. I need to be able to prototype that and understand what that looks like. Typically, the turnaround time for that would take potentially weeks in order to get it professionally printed. It's very expensive to do that, and this is something you iterate on as well. So having something like that SLA printer for me. Would be even the FDM printer I currently have. The resolution wasn't quite good enough in order to really print functional prototypes for my business, whereas the SLA printer could. But other things that I've used the printer for example, my family went to PAX one year. I don't know if you're familiar with PAX is around here, but you know what Comic-Con is, like all these things, right?
Okay.
Yeah, PAX is called Penny Arcade Expo. it's something. It started in Seattle, but it is countrywide, and my family went as characters from Overwatch, the video game, and I printed out like a bunch of props. For example, using the printer, so that was a neat application of it. And then also uh, uh, presents, like my son is into 3D modeling, so I printed up a vase that he designed and sent it to my mom for Christmas, for example. Did that. But more practical type stuff, as you can imagine, the idea one day, hopefully one day, as it becomes cheaper and everybody has one of these things, your remote control back on the battery compartment, the thing broke, right? Well, you can just print a new one. The door for the batteries, or
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, that would be
That'd be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
that'd be the goal, or like the materials are getting better and better. Like on the FDM printer, like I can actually print hoses for my car if I wanted to, using like nylon, some of the filaments that they use. So it's not far-fetched to think maybe in the future that instead of going out and buying like whatever it is you're buying, something that's just a solid piece of plastic that has a function for something you need, you could just print it yourself one day.
I love my favorite 3D printer tweet ever is from Bill Murray. Have you all seen this one?
I can't remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Step 1, buy a 3D printer. Step 2, print a 3D printer. Step 3, return the 3D printer. Someday it'll get to that. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is one of the philosophies for some of these 3D printer makers, is like the Prusa one, Keith, that I recommended to you that one time.
Yeah.
The Prusa one actually does have, when you buy the Prusa, it actually, part of it is 3D printed by a Prusa.
And you think about like International Space Station, all of these, space flight, something breaks, something needs to be created quickly. I mean, the opportunities for what these things can do are pretty endless.
Yeah.
They're really fascinating as it gets better and better.
But looking back at CES, though, I gotta say, there was nothing there that really caught me as, man, I gotta have this. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna change my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it that we're just running out of ideas? Has we reached like a plateau? This is kind of like a higher, like, philosophical question, as far as technology is concerned. When we were younger, the breakthroughs in technology and like electronics and computers it was just every year, like there was something that was just amazing happening.
Yeah.
It just seems to be slowing down a little bit.
I saw a TV, I guess a news article about the CES, and they actually highlighted something that if I could afford it, I would buy it, and that's a laundry folding robot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, 'cause,
that would do it for
I don't
me.
mind doing laundry. I hate the whole folding laundry thing.
Yeah,
But,
me too.
of course, I've learned since then that you have to actually feed the machine, and then it folds it for you. So I'd have to buy that machine, then I'd have to buy a robot feed machine. And,
Right.
Yeah, that definitely would be the next thing. Would be, I think, something related to just making people's everyday lives easier in that way, doing the mundane, kind of like having like a
Jetsons.
like a live-in. What was the name of the Jetsons, like robot?
Rosie.
Basically having that, like some sort of like household, like robot or something like that does all the chores for you and stuff. I think that would be obviously a massive game changer. There was a lot, actually. One thing I didn't mention, though, there was a lot of stuff for health here, and also by Philips there was a lot of futuristic operating room type of like equipment and things. So I think those sort of things would obviously make a huge impact on society as well.
Oh, sure.
Mark, you were talking about how it seems sort of bizarre to have like the devices that help comfort your dog or your cat.
Mm-hmm.
But I work in the pet industry these days, and having been to now 3 straight expos where we feature just pet supply, stuff like that, is amazing. Just in the 3 years, the technology that's been made available. Robots that toss the ball for your dog to chase after, all these different things.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that segment start to flower a little bit, just because there's so many people have pets these days.
Oh, they do.
And so
yeah, especially where I live here. Absolutely, they're choosing to have pets instead of kids. Yeah.
I think Roomba, those robotic vacuums, those kind of things. I'll tell you what. Another thing I wouldn't mind is a good robotic lawnmower. I know there's one that's out there, but I mean, I want one that can mow my lawn for me, where I sit back and I'm like, get her done, But
they had window cleaners. They had these robots that would clean your windows. You stuck it on your window, and it'll just go up and down by itself and clean the windows.
See, the things like that I think that'll be kind of what revolutionizes where electronics are going. Like you say, the everyday things that are the mundane parts of life, the toilet scrubbing, the things that we don't want to do that can just be done so much easier with something. That's where I think electronics need to go, not another phone with a half an inch bigger screen and I mean, I don't know. There's only so much that you can just go with.
Completely agree with you. In fact, Kohler, you mentioned toilets. Kohler had like an electronic toilet that, the seat raised up and down, like automatically. It got heated and like all sorts of stuff. And it's like they had a whole booth just around electronic faucets and things. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like how much do you need? You've seen these Alexa integrated microwaves. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to put the pizza in for me? No. So what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's some point where you're just like, come on, really? But I guess somebody will like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Anyway.
There's a lot of that for sure.
Thanks for all of it. Anything else, guys, that you have questions on CES?
My mind's blown.
Yeah, mine too.
It was super, super thorough, Mark, man. I really appreciate you coming on and agreeing to do this and visit with us about it.
Hey, speaking of technology, what does a calculator say when it leaves work for the day?
What does a calculator say when it leaves work for the day? Oh, man. I don't know.
Calculator.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
wow.
Man.
Calculator.
Calculator.
That was bad.
Calculator.
Yeah.
It's Keith. That's how you do a segue right there.
I liked it. That was really good. I mean, you were to the point. You're like, I'm in.
No looking back.
I turn it over to you. I succeed to you.
Thank you.
Man, with all of this technology growing, you were talking a little bit about, Mark, that, even some of the medical breakthroughs that are going out there. And did you know that scientists have been able to grow human vocal cords in a petri dish? Yeah, the results speak for themselves.
Oh, man.
So bad.
No, that was one of his best yet.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was.
Thank you.
It was.
Now let's just pause here for a second.
Okay.
Steve has gotten cocky here. So remember, he was the one that used to be terrified, and when we were trying to go through this season, he was the one that said, "No, we're not doing this every other episode. We're doing it every episode." He's gotten cocky with this.
Yes. I miss the old shaky voice, sweaty palms, Steve Pakelke whenever we're doing these.
He's the one. He's like, I've got mics in each hand to drop, whatever.
I still get nervous. I don't know why.
Did y'all know that the Secret Service isn't allowed to yell "get down" anymore when President Trump is about to be attacked?
No,
I don't guess I knew that.
Yeah, now they have to yell "Donald Duck."
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, nice. Well played. Well played. Mark,
I got the bad one, of course.
That can't be bad.
Why can't you have a nose 12 inches long?
Why can't you have a nose?
12 inches.
I have no.
Because then it would be a foot.
All right, Mark wins.
Thank you for the rim shot. That was awesome.
So simple yet so effective. Oh man,
so good.
Oh, well, listen, this was fun. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
And Mark, thanks again for coming on. We always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We would love to have. We'll have a segment here in the future with just some drones and 3D printing and topics like that you kind of really taken off with. And so I look forward to that. But also remember, listen to episode 9, the Zim and Vigor episode. That does feature kind of how he built his business. And so take a listen to that one as well as this one. And as always, my friend, thank you so much. And it's always good to catch up with you.
Awesome.
No, thanks. It was great having me. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. And Steve, why don't you take us out?
You know what? Thank goodness we have technology to get us through the day and make us smarter and all that good stuff. So And you know, it's been a lot of fun to see some of the exciting things that all these smart people in the world are coming up with to make our lives better and more entertaining and all that good stuff. So it's been fun to talk about all that stuff. Mark, thanks again, guys. Y'all have a great day, and we'll talk to everybody next time on episode 49.
49. Cool. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the Testosterone Zone. We sure had a blast visiting with you. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave us some feedback, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
All Testosterone podcast episodes are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve unless otherwise noted.
The opinions expressed in the Testosterone podcast are our own and not those of our employers, families, parents, kids, dogs, cats, your mom, or any other entity Noel, Keith, or Steve are affiliated with now, in the past, or in the future, or ever.